Hello everyone, welcome to channel Qtomation. In the previous session we have seen different levels of software testing. We have seen unit testing, integration testing, system testing and user acceptance testing. These are high level of software testing. These are the different high level of software testing. So we have seen unit testing, it is done by developers. Integration testing is basically combining the various modules, integrating them, and performing the testing. Unit testing and integration testing are also white box testing. They are mainly done by developers. So once developer completes the unit testing, they perform the integration testing as a white box testing. And for that some coding knowledge is required. After developer performs the integration testing, they provide it to the QA team for system testing. System testing includes black box testing. In system testing, it is done by software testers. And system testing includes various type of other testings as well. We have also seen what is user acceptance testing as well. So these are high level of various levels according to phases of software testing. As a tester, we have to focus more on system testing. So system testing we actually performs the end-to-end test execution whether it is working as per the requirements or not. We have to go through the business requirement document to understand the requirement. We have to also prepare the test plan, test execution, test report. All these activities are performed during the system testing. System testing is nothing but checking overall functionality of the software. In system testing, QA team performs testing and they will verify whether the software behavior is as per the requirement or not. System testing is also done in QA environment. So unit testing and integration testing they are done by developers in their own local development environment. But after integration testing, once they provide this build to quality assurance team for system testing, then that testing is conducted on some testing environment. And that QA environment is as same as the production environment. So normally the client or the users who are going to use that specific product, they will have their own environment as a production environment, and the testing environment will be same as that production environment. So normally however the software behaves on that testing environment, that should behave same as on the production environment. So that's why system testing is normally done by testers on the QA environments. So they internally set up one server, they set up all the infrastructure which is needed for such environments. And quality assurance team can perform system testing on the software. Now this system testing that we are going to see now. Now the system testing also includes GUI testing, that is graphical user interface testing, usability testing, functional testing, and non-functional testing. So GUI testing revolves mainly around look and feel of that specific product. It is basically checking all the UI element in that specific product. Then how product is the usable. So usability testing includes different type of usability factors that we will see in coming sessions as well. But just understand on high level. Functional testing is the testing where we actually verify end-to-end functionality which is developed by developers. So once you go through the requirement document and understand the requirement, we should be able to perform the test execution on those requirements on our software testing build. And that comes under functional testing. Apart from this GUI testing, usability testing and functional testing, we also have non-functional testing. Non-functional testing is again required some different type of expertise. Non-functional testing is normally done by different quality assurance teams. It includes load testing, performance testing, security testing. These type of testing are basically need some special expertise in it. So we have some dedicated people or dedicated team in our organizations to perform such kind of a testing. Non-functional testing is basically load testing, performance testing or infosec related testing, security testing. In today's session, we will more focus on GUI testing, that is the part of system testing. So what exactly is GUI testing? What is GUI? GUI is graphical user interface. Graphical user interface means it contains several visual elements such as buttons, text boxes, menu, checkboxes, images, etc. So whenever we visit any website, what is the first thing user is going to see? So once you visit any website, we normally see different type of UI elements. Such elements with which user can interact with those elements. User can click on those buttons. User can see the text boxes. He can fill the data in those text boxes. There can be a different type of menu options, check boxes, images, etc. So all these web elements, so these are basically known as web UI elements, and we have to perform testing on those elements. So that basically comes under GUI testing, or we can also say UI testing. So GUI testing refers to validating UI functions or the features of the application that are visible to users and whether they are behaving as per the requirement or not. So normally whenever we perform the testing, we have to first write the test cases. When we write the test cases, we get the functional requirement document from the product team. Along with that product requirement, we also get some kind of a design documents as well. So now let's say if we are going to design or if we are going to bring a new feature in our existing product, that will need some UI elements, right? So that will contain some new UI element, and that design needs to be given by designers or product team. So they will provide those designs to developers as well as testers. So whoever are developing those, so normally front end engineers will develop those. They will refer to those design documents, and the same document can be referred by quality assurance team as well. So when we write the test cases along with the functional requirement, we should write the test cases for UI testing as well. So GUI or UI testing, basically we have to write the UI testing as well by looking at those design documents. That will ensure that whatever user is going to see after that feature is built, that should be looking attractive, that should be usable, that should be user friendly. All these aspects comes under the GUI testing. So we have to validate those UI elements so that end user gets a hassle free experience. So if you are developing a website, if you have the website and if you visit any website, it should feel attractive to users. Now let's take an example. Whenever we are visiting any website, if you don't understand the UI elements, you are going to leave that website. It will be frustrating for us if the website is not looking good. That's where UI testing is very important as well. Since users are often unaware of the specific UI element, they focus on the design of the app. So that's why UI testing focus on design of the application, the colors which are displayed on that application, and whether it is easy to navigate or not, whether links are properly displayed or not, links are clickable or not, what is the look and feel of the website, what is the text font size, whether the sections are properly displayed or not, images are correct or not. All these things comes under the GUI testing. In this way, app attracts more users day by day. For this reason, GUI testing becomes very important in the software testing phase. Now let's understand what is front end and what is back end. So whenever any application is built, or let's say any website is developed, there are two aspects of that website. First one is front end. What user is going to see is basically a front end. So whenever we open the browser, we open any website, let's say we are opening a banking website. So once you hit the URL and open the website, we can see banking logo, we can see the login screen, right? So all these are front end elements. But once you put your username and password and you click on login button, you get successfully login to that website if your username and passwords are correct. But how do you actually get those data basically? So once you log into your account, you can see all the account details of you. So in the background, what happens is, once you click on the login button, it performs in background, lots of processes are happening. So it might call some API, and the data which we are able to see on the front end, it's coming from the database. So front end and back end. So basically there are two things. What user is going to see is basically a front end. That is the UI of the website or any application. And behind the picture, behind that front end, there are different type of processes are running. That comes under the back end testing. So GUI testing mainly focuses on front end testing only. So in GUI testing, we focus on front end part. How user is going to see those element, how user is going to interact with those element. That comes under the GUI testing, or we can say front end testing. And for to perform this GUI testing, there are some guidelines. So how to perform GUI testing? There are some generic guidelines. So what needs to be validated for GUI testing? It can be applicable to any website or any web application as well as mobile applications as well. So let's see some of those guidelines of GUI testing. So these are some points which denotes the important guidelines for GUI testing. Now let's go one by one. Verifying layout of UI elements. Size, position, dimensions, height, width, etc. Now we know that in the website there can be a different type of UI elements like button, links, drop downs, header, logo, input field, radio button, etc. Now for all those UI elements, their position matters a lot, whether they are correctly positions in the right position or not, how is their alignment, what is the ideal size for those, whether it is height and width correct or not. So all these things we have to validate during the GUI testing. So whenever we are testing, as I said earlier, from the design team, we will get the exact requirements. In those design requirements, they will mention what should be the size of that specific element. For example, if you are having drop down, then what is the overall size of that drop down elements? What is the height of any specific button? If there is a logo on our website, what should be the ideal position of that logo? So all these things will be provided by designer team or product team. They will give you such documents, and as a tester we have to refer those documents. And whenever developer team gives you those requirement, after developing those, they will give it for testing. So as a tester we have to verify, we have to cross verify whether they are as per the design given by product team or not. Their position, their size, their look and feel, their colors, everything should be expected as per the requirements. That's where we have to verify layout of different UI elements. Next point is validation of clarity and accuracy of error messages. So let's take a simple example. Whenever we are going to log into any website, when we enter the correct username and password and we click on the login button, we are able to successfully log in into that application. That is perfectly fine. But whenever you are providing, let's say, incorrect username or incorrect password and you click on the login button, then what we will see? We will see some error message. Now that error message should be informative to user. That should accurately denotes that what is the user is doing wrong, right? So if you are showing the correct error message, then user will understand what incorrect thing he has done. So that's where as a tester it's very important to validate the clarity and accuracy of error messages. So if you are going to show incorrect error message, then user will never understand what he has done wrong. So that's why as a tester we have to always verify whether the error messages, now error messages we can show in multiple situations. So depending on the situation and the requirement, those error messages should be accurate enough. They should be clear enough to understand. Next point, ensuring the organization and structure of screen sections. So when we visit any website, that website UI is divided in different type of sections. There can be a header section, body section, or let's say footer section. So all these type of sections in which website is divided, those sections should be properly organized. User should be able to understand what are the different sections in the website, whether they are correctly structured or not. So all these things we have to validate in GUI testing. Verification of font readability and suitability for target audience. So let's say on any website font size also matter because it should be easily readable. If font size is too less, too small, then it will not be easy to read those font. If it is too big, then also it becomes inconvenient for users. So ideally the font size should be proper, it should be readable, and it should be suitable for target audience as well. Validating responsiveness across various screens, resolutions, and zoom level. So when we visit any website, we can zoom in and zoom out all the UI elements. So when we zoom in and zoom out, those elements should not overlap on each other, right? So whenever we zoom in and zoom out, those elements should not overlap on each other. They should be properly visible. Verifying the visual balance and alignment of all the UI components like button drop down. So as I said earlier, that website or any application can contain different type of UI elements. Their alignment should be proper. For example, buttons, drop downs, etc. We have to also validate that color contrast between the text and background for readability. So text color should not be very bright. Text color should not be very light as well. So it should be in between those. When user wants to read anything, it should be pleasing enough for the user. It should be easy enough for user to read those content. If the content is very bright colored or it is not matching with the background color, then it will become difficult for users to read those text. That's why text color and its background color matters a lot. So we have to validate that as well. Then verifying image resolution and clarity. Size of images, blurriness of image, whether image is clear or not. So website can contain images as well. Let's say take an example of any e-commerce website. So when any user visits e-commerce website, he will see the pictures of products. Whatever he want to buy, he will see the different type of images. Now if images are very dull or let's say images are blurry, then user will not like that. Even though that product is good, but if image is not correct or image is too dull or image is not bright or image is very blurry, user will not have great experience. User will feel that it is not good. So that's where it will impact the overall software. It will impact the business as well. That's why image should be proper. Its height and width also should be proper. Its quality should be also proper. Size of image should be proper. It should not be too heavy as well, because if image is very heavy, for example, let's say images should be in low in size but very clear in look and feel. If image, so every image will have its own size, right? So for example 100 kb, 200 kb, etc. It should not be too heavy, because if the size is too large, it will take time to load. So whenever website is loaded, if the image size is low, it will automatically load fast. So that's where it should be, it should not be too heavy in the size. At the same time, it should be very clear as well. So that as a tester, we have to verify whether whatever image we are seeing on the website, all those images are proper or not, or whether the image placement is proper or not. It should be within the layout, it should not crop anywhere, it should be fit to the screen, depending on different resolutions as well. Grammar and spelling mistake. So as a tester, we have to also verify the content which is displayed on the our application, that should be correct in the grammar, as well as spelling should be correct. That is again important factor of GUI testing. We have to also ensure that whatever UI elements are present, they are user friendly and easy to understand. So the interface which we are going to provide to user, that should be user friendly and it should be easy to understand. If it is confusing to user, then user will drop off, user will not like it. That's why if you want more users to visit our website, our UI should be very proper, easy to understand. It should be it should have attractive appeal to the users. So whenever we visit any website, if you visit any website with extreme bright red color, you will immediately close that website, because no one likes to see such websites which are very bright to our eyes. It will not be pleasant to our eyes. So it should have always the visual appeal, and aesthetics of the UI should be proper. Scroll bars. So whenever we see any content which is large in size or different quantity in size, we have to provide scroll bar functionality. So if you are going to visit on any e-commerce website, let's say, and you want to see the shirt of red colors, so there can be n number of shirts. So to show those shirts, they will provide the scroll bar functionality. It can be a horizontal scroll bar or it can be a vertical scroll bar. So all these scroll bars should be working correctly. Whenever you are scrolling up or down, it should be properly working. Placement of overflowing content should be proper. We have to also ensure that disabled fields are visually distinct and don't accept user input. So in sometimes we have seen in forms or something like that, sometimes we see some of the input fields are disabled. Now, why they are disabled is they are not meant to enter some text in it. So if there are some disabled fields, they should be visually distinct and should not accept any user input. So we have to validate that as in GUI testing. We have to also verify image dimensions are appropriate for the layout. We have to also verify whether all the heading alignment as per the design guidelines. Links, right? So in website we can also see the hyperlinks. So hyperlinks, basically when you click on them, it will redirect to some other web page. So in GUI testing, we have to verify whether those hyperlink color provides a clear visual feedback to users. For example, whenever we see, let's say we are seeing 5 hyperlinks on the web page, you click on the first hyperlink, then its color should be changed, because it will denote that you have already clicked on this hyperlink. So that is again important in GUI testing. So overall saying, we have to verify functionality and behavior of all the interactive UI elements like button, text boxes, links, drop downs, etc. So this is basically high level guidelines for GUI testing. So these are all the things which we should definitely check whatever application we are using. Whenever we get any new feature in our software, as a tester, always verify following points during the GUI testing, and that comes under the system testing. So when you are writing the test cases, make sure in the test cases all these factors are covered very well, because at the end users are going to visit the website, they are going to see all the UI elements, and that should be working properly as well as it should give a pleasant feeling to users as well. So thanks for watching this video about GUI testing. In the coming session, we will see some more type of system testing.